This massive DLC size mod adds endless replayability to Baldur's Gate 3, and it's now available on console and PC with the Gabe's Fun Pack by GabeCamomescro, and it's actually 21 mods all compiled into one, adding a loot randomizer that you can toggle, treasure goblins, a bone sculptor which lets you summon and create your own undead, Gabe's mod which adds AI to your companions and other summons. We got Gabe's pets and pocket dragons, which you can summon into combat. The Plague Doctor adding a bunch of new fun spells to the game. The Restless Dead adds zombie encounters after you fight enemies. The Mystic Forge lets you reroll your gear and throw it into a bag to get something new. Any summon can be a vendor. Dwarf tossing, explosives, Gabe's darts and daggers, a bunch of new weapons. Critical Mockery, letting you use vicious mockery lines when you score a critical hit. It's actually hilarious. The new feat, Barbaric Brawler, opening up some new fun builds. Death Penalties, which you can toggle if you want to have a little bit of an extra challenge. It follows Weeping Angels, which are extremely hard challenges you typically want to run away from, but add a new layer of difficulty to the game. Underpants Gnomes, they steal your underwear. And Gabe's Dragonborn, which lets you take Dragonborn abilities on any class that you want. The Arachnophobia, if you don't want to see any type of spiders. And Chaos Magic. Now, I just listed off 21 mods. This is in a single mod, so those that are on console, this is great because there is a limit on how many mods you're able to install. And the crazy part is I named 21 mods, but some of these mods do multiple things, which we'll be breaking down in this video. And I'll first start with the loot randomizer. There's other mods that will randomize loot, but they add a bunch of items into the game. If you want to actually just play through Baldur's Gate 3 and have actual random loot from the game, you can use this. There's a toggle here which lets you turn it on and off as you see fit. And what's nice about this is it'll actually scale with the enemies. As they're higher in level, you'll get better loot. You can also have vendors have random loot if you wanted to as well, and you can also make it so that you can block certain items and remove duplicates. It also comes with a skull urn, so if there's certain items that you just don't want, like if you're using something like a bunch of camp clothing and you don't want to have them pop up, if they are popping up per se, you can just throw them into the skull urn and it'll remove them all entirely. This mod will not increase the amount of junk that you find. There's actually resources for modders to add more of their items into this, and it will not mess with any story items in the game, so you don't have to worry about that. And what's cool is you can go to a merchant and they'll get a bunch of new items in, and what's great is you can talk to them again, it'll refresh their inventories. Treasure goblins are such a fun concept in any game that has them, and this is really cool too because it actually takes some of the items that are in Larian's files that aren't obtainable in the game and puts them into the goblins' inventories. This is another mod with a toggle, so you'll have the treasure goblins there. You can turn it on, and then they're just going to pop up, and it allows you to see them now in your world. And this is another mod where some other modders may have added their items into the loot pool for these goblins, so you may see some of those as well. Now, the Bone Sculptor is a very complex but fun way to create undead. It will disable the normal versions of these and adds a crafting system, which you can see all this here. And these mods get added into the Bag of Overwhelming Chaos. You can go into here, and then there's a few that you need. The Bone Sculptor's Tome, you can use that. And then the Scrawlings of the Madman comes with a bunch of recipes to create different corpse creations. If you want to make like a skeletal mage or an armored skeleton, you can see all the different things that you need to use here. You can create zombie battalions. And the how to properly part a cadaver, which if you use this, you'll get a knife, and then your character will go and if there's a corpse around, they'll go carve it up right away, and then you get your parts to be able to create your different zombies. It's pretty fun, actually. And once you have a recipe you want to make, you're going to use the Bone Sculptor's Tome there, and you're going to put them in the correct order that was listed in the book to be able to summon them in. And again, they're listed in here, so it's pretty straightforward. You also get the Bone Sculptor spells here, which gives you the ability to reduce a corpse, making it smaller, reanimate a corpse, which is pretty fun. You can reanimate whatever corpse you have stored. You can summon in Scaleritus Fell. There's also Igor here, which you can summon in. The Nurse Ratchet, Wolbrin the Wretched. These are just zombies you can summon in, and you can also heal them too. Now, we also have some other summons in the Gabe's Pets here. There's a bunch of different zombies you can summon in. And also under the Plague Doctor spells, there's the Glut Spores pretty much. A game crash, unfortunately, but what you'll do is you'll use this on a teammate here, and then they can also summon or get the body parts for you, and you can also summon in Igor, who will also collect them, and then you can use the one of the other mods here to make them a merchant and purchase the items from them as well. And once you summon in Igor, you're just going to swap to him, and he has the merchant abilities there to refresh his inventory, and then you can also click this if you wanted to just trade with him there. I don't have any inventory, but you see there. So yeah, as you play, you're going to collect different parts, create different zombies, and build up your own army. It's pretty fun. Now, we also got Gabe's mod, Combat AI, and Optional Cooldown Reset, which is really interesting because it adds in a bunch of different archetypes to the game. And it's going to be a potion that you're going to get from the bag here, the bag of overwhelming chaos. And when you go to it, you have a bunch of different archetypes. So if you want someone to be a melee character, you're going to go with that. You can also remove it if you wanted to, make them a caster, a rogue, a ranged character, a beast, a monk, a 4 elements monk, because they do work a little bit differently. And you can also just put the default AI that would normally work on a character. So you got lots of options there, which makes things really interesting, because if you have a bunch of summons and you don't want to control any of them, you can just put this away. Or if you just want to have your entire team play randomly with their builds, you can just let them rip with this. It also adds in the ability mirroring, so enemies can possibly learn spells cast on them by their enemies. This turns things up a whole other level, because if you have some really fun, powerful spells and you cast them on the enemy, you never know, they may start throwing them back right in your face. It also has the Helldusk Nightmare mode here, which you can turn on. And it's funny, because whenever you're exploring, you may bump into someone that mirrors your character. 1% chance of this happening, but they also come with really good gear that you can't loot. It's just a hard challenge. And then there's also same self mimic. So you know the same self trial. You can turn this mode on, and it's going to have enemies that pop up that will mimic what you have. And you can't steal their armor, but you can take weapons. There's also an option here which makes it so that after combat you get all your spell slots and everything back. Obviously you still need a long rest for the story, but it's just another piece that's included with the Gabe's mod combat AI. I really like Gabe's pets with pocket dragons. This one's really cool because it adds in a ton of different summons to the game. It adds in a very powerful wither, so if you want to have withers come along with you for maybe like a super ultra nightmare with every single difficulty mod installed, he's really powerful, but you can summon him in and he will talk, which is kind of funny. Withers is using share his thoughts on himself, so yeah, he will talk. And as for spells, he comes with Inflict Wounds and Bone Chill, Withering Theft, which gives him 20 temporary health points, Illusions for Withers, and you can also make him transform and look normal. He comes with the Speak with the Dead. Other summons include squirrels, chickens, I really like the disheveled chicken. There's also the pocket dragon, so it comes with a skeletal lightning dragon and a fire red dragon. Now these are pocket dragons. They only appear when you're in combat and they disappear afterwards, so just be mindful of that if you want to summon them in around. The dragons have weird animations in the game. Oh, we got ourselves a fight. Nice. And Withers just took them out. Yeah, and then my character's going to go grab the cadaver. It's funny, yeah. It's all automated there. Withers pulled off the reaction, and yeah, we got ourselves a Goblin Warlock. And this is a treasure goblin. It comes with some of the items here that, yeah, like these are items in the game that you can't normally get access to. It also comes with this, which lets you transform yourself into one of the sisters, so if you wanted to be that. And the Book of Plagues, which gives you a bunch of different plague spells, which we'll get to in a moment. But one of my favorite summons from the Gabe's pets is the Grim Visage here, which comes with a bunch of different spells that it can shoot off. It's just basically a flying skull. Very cool. So yeah, this one comes with a bunch of different summons. Again, the pocket dragons will only be available in combat. But yeah, it's really interesting. And I guess the last thing to mention is you can actually make them scale up as you increase in level, and they'll increase at levels 4, 8, and 12. And there's also one which will summon in a chaotic companion based on your alignment. And there's also the ability to add and remove AI in this tab as well. So the common encounter that we just randomly had that Withers beat them up, the Book of Plagues is what dropped. And this will allow you to get the Plague Doctor with Nurse Polymorph. So this is, again, another mod here for GabeCamomescro that summons in that encounter there, the Goblin Warlocks, which gives you access to spells. You first start off with only one spell here that you can do. Now it has an interesting mechanic where you first start off by casting a spell, and you have like a 25% chance of unlocking another stack towards learning another spell. So once you have 5 stacks, you then learn another spell. It has some pretty powerful options here. I'm not going to spoil what they do. You can search them up. It kind of hints what each one of these does. They're pretty powerful and fun and thematic. But the final one here is the ability to put victims under control. So if you want to turn anything into your own like zombie pet, you can then go ahead with this mod here and make them yours. So you can see here after using the spell, he's now under our control here. So yeah, it's pretty funny. Now some of these spells will spread around to multiple different enemies here. Things like the Plague do what the Plague does best. And Sepsis is a buff that you actually apply to a teammate's weapon. So yeah, the Plague adds a lot. We also got the Restless Dead too. So this mod causes dead to sometimes rise. Again, all the Restless Dead will retain their abilities from life, though they do not look what they normally did. And there's 6 triggers for this. So if you open up a chest, if you become downed, if you get attacked by an undead, if you resurrect a party member, if you end combat, and looting. So anytime you pick up a chest, you may bump into something that may try to fight you. This mod also comes with the Horn of the Dead, which lets you summon them in at any time. So if you want to give yourself an encounter, you can just blow the horn, and then they'll appear. Sometimes it does have issues at camp, but yeah, you'll have the zombies appear when you can fight them. Oh, there we go. We didn't fight anything intense, but yeah, now this can be used for the Bone Sculptor. So if you need to farm a bunch of parts, use the Restless Dead and use that horn to be able to summon them in. And we also got the Mystic Forge. This is really fun. So basically, this just adds in something from Guild Wars 2 if you played. And this has basically a bag here, Zamaro's Mystic Pouch. What you're going to do is throw 4 different items into here, and it's going to give you another random item. So yeah, you can go ahead here, just close down the bag, and then poop, it gives you an item. And it gave me, it sometimes will give you items if you have like a outfit mod. It can be kind of funny in that regard, where it'll give you just more cosmetics because they're listed as a legendary item. But yeah, if you don't have a bunch of cosmetics, you can have really good chances of getting some great stuff in here. There's a 1% chance to get an additional high value item and a 5% chance you'll get a new custom item that they have made for this mod. So yeah, this is really fun. If you want to gamble with your items in Baldur's Gate 3, I think it's a really cool concept. Now, any summon can be a vendor is an extremely useful mod. So basically what this does is it gives you an item in the bag here, which is called the vendor policies and procedures. You're going to use this on yourself, and then you get access to the merchant abilities, and your summons will get this too. So you can go ahead and use the vendor policies on your teammate or whatever summon you brought in. We're just going to use Withers here, and you swap to them, and they'll now have the merchant abilities. You go and stock their inventory, and you can pick up any item that you want to throw into their inventory. So you can go boom, and then now they'll have this item in their inventory, and then you're just going to go trade with player, and then they'll have whatever item. I guess here's a better example. I use the water bottle there to be able to buy these from Withers. You'll actually summon in the strong box here and then use this to stock the inventory. It wasn't appearing at first. It may take a moment to actually have it work, so just be patient. And boom, they actually have the lightning darts and some of the other weapons from this mod here. So if you want to use some of these cool new throwing weapons that are in this as well. So yeah, very useful stuff. Now this is a fun one, the dwarf throwing with throwing cats. This adds a bunch of throwables. Basically, you drink the potion, you get the dwarf throwing here. You can summon in a dwarf or anything like that. That corpse just exploded. You'll cast the spell on yourself, and then it summons in a dwarf, and they'll shrink down to a size that you can throw them, and then you're just going to go right-click on them and throw at an enemy. And there's also a toggle that you can turn on to make them explode whenever you throw them to, so that's something as well. And there is a exploding dwarfs toggleable that you can put on here for when you throw them, and it'll make them explode into some fireworks when you do go to throw them. My game is lagging a little bit, oddly enough, so yeah. There you go, we got fireworks. Yeah, this one's just mainly for fun. You just can throw dwarves. They don't join combat, and just something you can do if you want to have Karlach throw a bunch of dwarves as a weapon. Now, in the same vein, we got the explosives mod here. So this will add a bunch of different items. The Immortal Boo, Firebomb, Poison Grenade, Web Grenade, Smoke Bomb, Healing Grenade, Noxious Grenade, Force Grenade, Vacuum, Cluster Mine, Smoke Bomb. Very, very nasty, custom-made timed Rune Powder Barrel Bomb. Explosive Teddy Bears. And you'll just go to the explosives tab here, and then you have all the different crazy things that you can throw around. Mines that'll explode. You can heal your teammates. The Immortal Giant Space Hamster here, which you can then summon in. And then you can go ahead and throw it. Now, one of the things that always makes me sad about Boo is that Boo takes damage. This is a Boo that does not get damaged. And all the characters have unique dialogue for throwing Boo. So yeah, he'll also blind enemies when you throw it at them. Actually, comments about people wanting more explosives in the game, so here you go. And also the Gabe's darts and daggers. So this adds a bunch of new daggers into the game. You can purchase them from Sticky in the Guild Hall, or Aaron or Harper, a Quartermaster. Now, we've seen one of these previously. It'll actually go into your inventory here as a dagger, and then it gives you a passive here, the Sneaky Dagger, which then lets you, as a bonus action, throw it at enemies. It's nothing too overpowered, actually pretty weak in its damage, doing a 1d4, but it's just something to add into the game that adds a little bit of extra fun, I guess, to the combat. As I know people really wanted daggers and darts and slings to be added to Baldur's Gate 3, as they're not present in the game naturally. So yeah, more weapons. I really like the critical mockery. This one's hilarious. So basically, when you score a critical hit, you will do a voice line from Vicious Mockery. Every single character in the game has these voice lines, so yeah, they do get pretty funny, and it's just hilarious. So yeah, drop a crit, talk shit. Now the feat Barbaric Brawler here adds in a couple feats. You do need to have 16 strength to be able to use them, but they will add an additional attack and a bonus +1 to strength or constitution. This opens up builds, so if you want to play as a barbarian that can brawl, like a giant brawler or something like that, you can do that. It's actually pretty fun and decently well balanced too. Now, I recently talked about the death penalties mod because it got added to PC October 13th, so very recently. This adds debuffs depending on if you want them or not. That'll, whenever you get taken out in combat, you'll lose an amount of XP. So you can make it so you lose 5%, 10%, 15, 20, 25, or you can have it affect the entire party. And you also can apply a downed penalties, which will give you a minus to your ability saves, ability checks, and health for a number of turns equal to your character level when down. So that can obviously make things kind of challenging. This is great for those that want to add another layer of difficulty to their game and kind of make things a little bit tricky. In the same vein again, it follows Weeping Angels. This adds in Weeping Angels that'll only spawn when you're in combat. If they cannot stay in the world too long, so you basically just want to run away from them. They can one-shot you, and facing them is highly recommended. If you ignore them, they'll seek you out and all other enemies in your area. So yeah, you can either wait them out, run away from them. You got a lot of options when it comes to it, but you got to watch out because they hit really hard. So yeah, pretty funny fight. It adds more combat into the game. And there's also the Underpants Gnome. So this is kind of just more so a funny one, South Park reference. They'll basically just go in and steal your arm or your underwear. And it was meant to steal armor, but they don't have that working. And they can sometimes try to steal your weapons as well. But yeah, that's just something that you can add in for fun if you wanted to. There's also the Gabe's Dragonborn Draconic Ancestry for all. So when you go to level up and respec, so any class you pick, if you want to play a monk, you get to take a Draconic Ancestor. This can give you the appearance if you want to. You can remove it at the magic mirror, but it'll come with some special spells. So you get your acid breath, you can do it in a cone or a straight line. And it also comes with a spell associated to your Draconic Ancestry, which gives you some pretty fun choices here too. And there's also Giggles the Dragon, which is a Draconic Ancestor, come with a box of fireworks and the Breath of the Party, which gives you a radiant damage attack. This mod will also give you the Draconic Resilience, adding a 3 to your armor class if you're not wearing any type of armor. And there's also some special notes for if you're the Dark Urge. And there is a bug where if you're playing a Bard or Sorcerer, they won't appear. So there's a heads up on that. Now, we also got an Arachnophobia mode. I love when games have these for people that don't want to, see spiders. And this will make it so that any creature within 32 meters of the avatar that is tagged as a spider, has the word spider or drider, will turn into any beast that you have previously killed that is not a spider or drider. Also love Fallout, so that's pretty cool. And finally, the Chaos Magic. This is pretty funny. It is chaotic. Pure chaos, one may say. You would take this, and what it's going to do is you're going to cast it on yourself, and you will cast a random spell. It's just random, and that's what kind of fun about it, because sometimes you're going to use spells from like different mods. So Dark Urge use Chaos Magic. Let's see what I'm going to pull out. And boom, we got an animation there. I did something, and use Summon Withers. So now we got 2 Withers, no big natties. That's hilarious. So yeah, it can make you cast any type of spell. We previously used that spell, so it was in our memory, and we ended up doing it. And I also got a Wild Magic Surge. Oh, great. Cool stuff. So yeah, this got to be one of the craziest mods that I've seen. The most bang for your buck, I would say, in terms of mods, especially if you're on console. That's 21 mods that have sometimes multiple effects like Gabe's mod, all combined into one. So let me know your thoughts in the comments. Hit the subscribe button below if you enjoyed, and we'll catch you all in the next video.